In a world where survival is the only language spoken, the phrase rags to riches barely scrapes the surface of what Jikks, known as the Spear of Grass, has endured. A creature, dark-furred and antlered, towering like a wilderness god, stands silently in the grasslands, unaware of the human shadow creeping near. Jikks, expression hidden under fur and grit, tracks it with practiced ease, noting the adult male's prints and the freshly torn tree bark nearby. Without hesitation, he strikes, clean, ruthless, and silent. The beast crashes to the ground. Another day, another kill. This is the northern grasslands, a brutal world so wild that not even the Empire dares raise its voice here. A land where at dusk, you check your own neck just to confirm you're still breathing. Born to nomadic blood and shaped by the wind, Jikks was a wolf cub carved out of loneliness. Separated from his herd while still young, he never knew why they left him or whether they'd ever return. He learned to sever a deer's head before he knew the alphabet, scavenged bodies before he understood buying or trade. He survived, but as a beast. The people of the Empire whispered about him, their gazes laced with fear. "That's the guy from the north, isn't it?" they muttered. Some even claimed he dined on human flesh. To them, Jikks wasn't a man. He was a barbarian draped in fur and menace. But then came Elka. She approached the wild boy, soft eyes full of something unfamiliar, concern. When she asked for his name, he responded with hesitation, like the word itself was foreign to his tongue. "Jikks," he said, and when her hand landed gently on his shoulder, she smiled. She didn't flinch. Instead, she told him, "You're like a wolf walking on two legs." And in that moment, something cracked inside him. Years of wandering with only the moon as his roof and dead things as companions collapsed in on him. He had lived like a beast, forgotten what warmth felt like, but now, someone had seen him. Elka. His first true companion. Tears welled up. For the first time, he realized what loneliness actually meant. Taken in by Elka and her father, Jikks tasted civilization. He learned how to sit at a table, how to eat without always expecting to fight for food. The savage life began to fade into memory. The wolf pup was slowly, painfully turning into a man. Yet if it meant protecting Elka, Jikks would gladly abandon that manhood and become a beast again. Because the world she walked in was dangerous, and today that danger had a name: Ed Rothtaylor. Rumors painted him as a cheat, a princess insulter, a junior harasser. When Jikks found Elka unconscious, a black aura clinging to her, rage consumed him. He stormed through the building, found Rothtaylor, and didn't hesitate, grabbing him by the collar, demanding answers. Where was Elka? What happened? Rothtaylor, dazed, barely replied, pointing toward the reading room. Jikks bolted, found her collapsed and still breathing. Relief washed over him like a flood. "Thank God," he whispered, again and again. But something felt off. As he scanned the room, his hunter's eye noticed details. Bookshelves impossibly heavy, yet arranged like a barrier around her. Blackout curtains drawn to hide her from the sight of berserk spirits. A note left gently beside her. "Don't panic. Stay here. Everything will be resolved before dawn." Whoever set this up had done so with care. Blood pooled nearby, but not hers. It led Jikks to one conclusion. Someone protected Elka. That someone was Ed Rothtaylor. Wounded, bleeding, exhausted, yet he hadn't cared about his own body. He'd shielded her. Why? Jikks couldn't understand. 3 hours earlier, Ed had been in the same room, muscles aching, calmly lifting bookshelves to create a barricade. His internal narration was wild. Talk of story progression, summon runes, and something called the Glasskin Showdown. He had a plan, though. Eat beef jerky, do some late-night research, and avoid plot derailment. But then, something clicked. Janika's spirit powers were accelerating. She could now shoot materialized spirits, and that explosion of light, delicious. Ed absorbed the swarm like a man starving for EXP, stats rising like a lottery win. Fire magic, spirit understanding, spirit connection, all at new highs. He was so close. Just one more level and a contract would have been possible. But then came collapse. He'd pushed his body to the brink. When Jikks arrived, carrying Elka, confused and raging, Ed simply answered, "Training." The most absurd, unbelievable excuse, but somehow it stuck. Jikks looked at this man who risked his life, and beneath the wild exterior, something shifted. Respect, gratitude. He bowed his head, finally calling him Senior Ed, promising to repay the debt one day. In his heart, Jikks realized Elka wasn't just a savior. She was his lifeline, and Rothtaylor had protected that. Meanwhile, Ed, battered and bleeding, started to panic. He remembered something important. In the original story, Jikks and Taylor were supposed to become friends after Taylor landed Element Slash during a duel. But that never happened. The timeline had changed. Glasskin Showdown. Originally the final chapter of Act 1 had been pushed a month earlier. Taylor hadn't learned his move. He hadn't earned Jix's respect. That bond hadn't formed. And now, with Tarkin summoned and the raid team in shambles, Taylor couldn't deal any damage to the fire spirit. The original story was unraveling like a cursed thread. Back at the student center, the raid team was in tatters. Bloodied, exhausted, they had failed their first attempt. Fionia admitted that even if Jikks had been there earlier, it wouldn't have changed the outcome. Reinforcements were needed. Claire, limping, wanted to fight again, but she could barely stand. As despair crept in, Rothtaylor stepped forward, decisive. The summoning ritual was almost complete. They didn't have time, so he proposed something unthinkable: split the team. He would lead one half. From this point forward, he would actively intervene in the storyline. And with that, the real battle began.